Hello, good morning. Have you had a good celebration night yesterday? I hope so. So, first of all, I would like to ask you, so who is here for the first time? Who's listening to such a presentation, Cloud ALM for regulated customers for the first time? Okay. Wonderful, thank you. I see many raised hands. And who is already currently active in the DSAG working group or in our customer roundtable or customer community? All right, thank you. Great to have you all here. So, compliance really affects us all. This summer, my husband, for example, had a severe accident with his bike and multiple ribs were broken. And that was the first time when I saw a thorax drainage. And I was really grateful to see that this medical device really worked as designed. It was properly tested, and the personnel was properly trained to use this medical device. And so really compliance affects us all, and often in severe situations. And I would like to express that I'm really honored to be your advocate. I'm representing your requirements from regulated companies within the product management of SAP Cloud ALM, and I'm really happy and feel honored to support you in your ALM transformation. So what we have here for you today is for sure, we comply with the legal disclaimer. And we have brought an introduction of how validation of cloud software works in practice. Then we will take a look how SAP Cloud ALM evolved in the recent months and how the roadmap for regulated companies look like. And we will take a look into a practical use of SAP Cloud ALM in regulated companies. And with that, I would like to welcome on stage Susanne Finger. She's Solution Advisor for Life Science at SAP Germany.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Nice to see the room so crowded. As Lisa said, I'm part of the customer advisory organization for our German life science customers, and I'm helping them to understand and also answer questions around their transformation, and specifically the transformation towards the cloud. And Lisa asked me today to come here on stage to set a bit the scene why Cloud ALM actually plays an important role also for regulated industries and life science in specific. And you might know that specifically in this industry, the topic of software and system validation is very crucial. So let's get started. Let's think about it. You are embarking on your journey. You selected a very cool new cloud product like SAP Digital Manufacturing. You put everyone into place. They started to build the solution, get the application into the implementation phase. The engines are rolling, right? You're about to start. You're on the runway with your digital innovation plane. But then suddenly you come to a stop because you cannot take off. You take a look outside of the window, and what you see is a pile of documents, and many, many people making sure that you need to tick off all those checkboxes. That's kind of a metaphor of how validation is currently perceived in the industry. It's a very restrictive way of documentation that you need to comply, and sometimes even grown over years, the practice of validation, where a lot of templates, very prescriptive templates, and also the idea that I need to validate everything is in place. Of course, that means that your teams are busy with documenting all the time, but your business is actually thriving and also asking for the innovations that come with the cloud, and they're also seeing AI already there. Compliance should not be the part that is holding you back from takeoff, but actually becoming a kind of safety belt for accelerating into the cloud. How to do that is really to get into a fundamental mindset shift. Stop understanding validation as just a one-time off effort, once and done, don't touch the system, don't touch the documents for 20 years. start to embrace a continuous innovation cycle with a life cycle approach also to your validation topics. What, of course, always is a big question that comes beforehand is, but life science or regulated industries are not ready for the cloud. We're giving away so much opportunity here and also security. And I'd say, no, that's not the case. It's just a slight shift of responsibilities. You're sharing the load now with SAP, who's taking over as your cloud service provider portions of your platform and infrastructure qualification. You're still holding the key to what is happening on your data and also on the application layer, but you are able to consume the new innovations that are coming on the shared application layer of a software as a service solution directly. And at the end, to be fair, still, a life science company, you need to also comply to validation rules and regulations, because if the regulators are coming in-house for audit, you need to prove that you're working with validated software. Now, if you're really embracing the lifecycle approach, Cloud ALM actually brings everything that you need as a pavement, right? You're able to run from implementation all the way to operations, your application lifecycle management for cloud solutions. And as we heard in the morning, it is meant for this kind of topics. Think about it, you have already everything on hand for documenting your user requirements, functional specifications. You have a methodology that can be then adapted and enhanced to get compliance already built in Cloud ALM. Of course, there are some topics that need to be extended, like e-signatures or extended approval workflows. Or if you even would like to enhance your BTP platform with own services that you're using in regulated environments. But Cloud ALM really becomes your orchestration hub, and not only for application lifecycle management then, but actually also for triggering and syncing your validation processes. It helps you at the end, if you're embracing this kind of confidence, to reduce costs, scale up faster, and increase your productivity. Let me give you a last good example on that. When you're really starting to embrace a continuous software assurance approach, you could, for example, take the tests that you are created, put that into task scripts for GXP relevant areas, move that with the help of Cloud ALM into a test automation tool like Tricentis Tosca, and let it run iteratively every time an update of your solution is available. Now, Lisa, what do you think? Are we ready for takeoff then?
Great, thank you, Susan. So let's now let's take a look how SAP Cloud ALM evolved in the recent months and what's on our roadmap, especially for regulated companies. So, as you know, we support the complete process of SAP Activate, the complete implementation we support, and we have multiple functionalities for several project roles, be it the project lead, for process owners, consultants, configuration experts, and so on. Everything is accompanied with analytics, documentation functionality, traceability functionalities. And let's keep this picture in mind, because we will refer to that later again, because we will take a look how the validation deliverables can be intertwined into this process. So when I was asked like 2 years ago, so Lisa, can you manage some cross topics for regulated companies like versioning or archiving? And I said, yes, sure, let me take a look at it. And so in the beginning, we started with functionality and APIs. And when I dive deeper into the topic, I realized it's way more. And I come up with 7 main pillars which are important for you when you want to use Cloud ALM. And we will dive today into every pillar and take a deeper look. So first of all, important for you, for 1 year now, we have out a compliance white paper. This is available, the link is in the slides, and here we outline our quality management system, information about data separation, and certifications. And you can also read that every 30 minutes we run automated end-to-end tests. Yeah? All the information that we were allowed to share are in this white paper. So I would like to invite you to take a look at it, and if there are any questions or if there is any some further information you would like to see in this, just reach out to me and I'm really happy to align on that. And second pillar, certifications. So we are often asked, so which certificates are available for SAP Cloud ALM? And here we can say that SAP's Secure Software Development and Operation Lifecycle is certified per ISO 9001 for quality management and ISO 27001 for information security management. So, and for sure we are we are following these really strict processes, and we also need to prove that we follow these processes, so SAP Cloud ALM can be perceived as also be certified according to these certificates. And those certificates are both available in the Trust Center, and for sure we are currently also looking into further certificates which we can achieve and gain in the next months and years. So additional pillar is, we are also often asked, so in which countries is SAP Cloud ALM available? And here you see that our global reach has increased over the years. And last year, for example, we also published made Cloud ALM available in an EU Access data center, which could be also interesting. So if you are holding an EU Access contract with a product you subscribe for, then derived from that, you get the option to also get Cloud ALM subscribed in this special data center. And a data center in China is also on our roadmap for Q4 still this year. And looking ahead, sovereign cloud is the next big thing. So if you are looking for more data sovereignty, technical operational sovereignty, then this could be an option for you. An additional pillar, what we discussed, is preview information. So today, bi-weekly, you get new functionality released to your tenant. And at the same day, you get the information in the What's New portal. And that's already available today. And we have learned in several customer interactions that this might be too late. You need information earlier, what is on our short list, which will soon be released. So here's what I can share with you, that we plan to release 2 weeks in advance. Before we release the functionality, you will get a hint, a glimpse into and preview what is planned to be released in the next sprint, and what is already available today. You can subscribe here, and I did it myself because it's really helpful, because bi-weekly I get a reminder in my inbox, hey, there are new functionalities available, please take a look. And so it's a good reminder to really check regularly which new functionality is available, and maybe it's the functionality you were waiting for, maybe for a couple of weeks. And this gives you also some lead time to prepare user manuals, to prepare training material, or if you are a consultant, to be prepared for the next customer workshop. And this is also a preparation work we do for the further expansion of a tenant strategy. So as of today, you get, with your subscription, you get one production tenant, which is on feature level 1N. And you can already today extend that. You can subscribe for the tenant extension for training or demo purposes. You can have an additional tenant, or just extend the memory or the outbound API transfer. And during several customer, partner, and DSAG interactions, so we had several discussions, we learned that it could be really helpful to have also a preview tenant, which gives you some lead time to check new functionality and also to test custom integration or your own extension scenarios. You don't need to test our functionality because that is what we ensure via our quality management system, but you might want to have an option to test your own integration or extension scenarios. Furthermore, functionality and APIs, also one major pillar, and here I prepared for you a selection of topics which might be interesting for you. We have released a new project role, which is the requirement approver. And with that, you can assign a person as a requirement approver, so only this person can approve requirements. So no longer the requirement creator can approve requirements, and this is to ensure a segregation of duty on this object. Or the project risk management was recently released, and stay tuned. So in the recent months, we will also add some more analytics functionality for analyzing and categorizing risks. And for documents, for example, we have, beside the status values, we have also an approval states and an approval procedure added. And this is also as a preparation, as baseline for an approval API, a workflow API to extend the document approval according to your needs. And we have also published the process hierarchy API so that you could, just as an idea, that you get the process hierarchy out of Cloud ALM and use these structured nodes to also store your validation documentation in an integrated validation tool of choice. And so also to give you some outlook, what is still on our list, we have heard that it could be also beneficial to add some reasoning for when you approve or reject an item, that you can put in some text. Yeah? So that is the next evolution of the approval flow. Or we have also, it was in the expert panel on Tuesday, a question, so when will we ensure more data integrity? And it's definitely on our list to close items and in a final state and lock them so that they are really secured and can no longer be edited by the project members. And document versioning, so that was the topic in our usability testing. Did someone take part in the usability testing of versioning? Okay, great, I see some raised hands. There was already, you could already put your hands on this concept to really lock items in a dedicated version, and then you can open a document, rework it, and save it as the next version. And as we have also now included the persona of a quality assurance person in our portfolio, we also created and designed a project quality dashboard. I think it was also part of the usability testing. And here we will provide some measures because we have the data. We can analyze if, for example, the text field of a document is still empty. Yeah, we can show out that. Or are there free-floating features, which might need a relation to a requirement yet? Or any further inconsistencies. Yeah? And here we are also still open for feedback, for input. So if there are any inconsistencies you realize in your project where you would like to have a dashboard and transparency on, please feel free to reach out to me or my colleague Mega. And yeah, so here I summarized some important topics for you. So it's not the complete roadmap, but that is a roadmap to highlight the most important topics which could be interesting for customers in the regulated environment. And I would like to pick one example here. So to delete users in the history. That was an example where we got feedback from customer that it would be really important to see, even if a project member leaves the project and is deactivated or deleted from the tenant, it's still important in the traceability to check if who has made some changes. But for sure, we also need to balance GDPR requirements. So we invented the user viewer role so that only with this role you can still see, even if a person has left the project, you can still trace who has made some changes. And that was in October last year, and that is a functionality which we delivered then earlier this year, which is an example of a good collaboration with customers, partners. So we really listen but you also need to give us some time to find a solution to fulfill your requirements. And you might say, oh, there are still lots of topics on this roadmap. Can I use Cloud ALM already now? And I would say yes, because on the one hand, we have open APIs. So there are multiple options to extend Cloud ALM already today. For example, with workflow engines of choice, so that you can really configure workflow routes, approval roles according to your needs. You can integrate with validation tools of choice, which bring validation management capabilities, and accelerators for your validation documentation. And if you want to build extensions on BTP, then you might also qualify the underlying standard services on BTP, which you reuse for your development. And to qualify that, we also have a partner, P36, here, who will fill this gap. And with that, I would like to share with you here, this is my little translation sheet. So what are the objects in Cloud ALM and how do they relate to validation deliverables and validation milestones? And you might also be curious, how could this look like in practice? And here I would like to invite Ole Jedrzejczyk from Deloitte on stage. Thank you for joining, and he will give us some insights how this looks like in practice.
Thank you, Lisa. My name is Ole Jedrzejczyk. I'm Specialist Director at Deloitte, leading the delivery excellence in the Nordic and responsible for the use of the integrated tool chain in the EMEA region. My story short here will be about a customer in a regulated environment. We are working with for a year now. And my role in the project is I'm just a tool guy. I'm bringing Cloud ALM, the integrated tool chain. But with that, a lot of additional things follows. One of the things is to use the tool chain in the right way for project management, and all the task management, features, release management, because the customer has decided they want to use Cloud ALM full scale. That was a management decision made by the board because they want to have things integrated and fully traceable. Because for them it's important that we have the traceability throughout everything in one tool, because otherwise you need to look in a lot of tools to find the traces. When we come there was a merge of two old SAP companies that were merged in one company with two different cultures, two different ways of make validation, usage of things. So to do that, we brought them together, or they have it brought together and have to agree on how to use it. The main principle is, why not? The question from the program management, when someone says, I can't use this because we have, why not? Why can't you use SAP Standard? Why can't you use Cloud ALM? Then we had, had a lot of meetings, and one of the meetings was then to bring things together in terminology. In Lisa's slide, there was an URS, User Requirement Specification. Where do we have this in Cloud ALM? Because they need to learn also that we have these documents and these objects in Cloud ALM. We have a requirement, we have a user story, we have tasks, we have subtasks, we have features. In all this, they need to understand first. Because when they come with their requirements that we need this and this and this and this, because we always have done that, we brought them together in workshops where the customer then draw this picture themselves. It's nothing that we did from Deloitte. Lars Soderman sat down, responsible for documentation, and he drew this picture together with the team and us to identify what is what. Terminology is key, that we understand each other, where we are going, what we are doing. Then we also added, where can we find this information? Where do we create the requirement? Where do we create the user story? And where do we do the assessments? So all this has been done. We started out to have, okay, we need a process for GXP-relevant stuff and non-GXP. Why? When do you decide when something is GXP-relevant? The problem is when you do it on requirement level and only 20% of requirement is GXP-relevant, then you do have a lot of additional documentation burden for something that is not GXP-relevant. So in that way, we stripped down, created then based on that, on the user story, there we do have the acceptance criteria, and that is there we decide, is this GXP relevant or not? That is where we do a risk assessment. And then we were using the features to be the approval carrier, because on the features we have the workflow, and also the features are the place where the definition and the implementation technical meets, and that is here we need to control. That was a shift in the paradigm. That was a shift in how we are thinking and going through it. I will not go through all this nice flow that was created, who has to approve, who has to approve what. But another thing was important, that is the development system, need the development system to be validated? No, because we are doing the development. Is the test environment, do we need validation there? No. We need to have a validation, and to document all the validation stuff when we come to the pre-prod or validation environment. There the compliance team takes over, there the compliance team run their test, there the compliance team needs to sign off that this is validated and okay with the validation report. Until that point, we are fully in Cloud ALM. The validation report then, later, when it's finalized, is stored, what they use 1MS, there they store it, there they do the electronic signature. Because then we have the reporting that this is compliant and it is validated. That was also a shift in the mental shift in the paradigm, how they were working. And this is then the story from that customer. We have a lot of things they need to rethink. And is this really needed to be in regards to GAMP 1, 2, or 3? Or is it just a history, the reasons why we have this way of working? And a lot of additional burden. And that is what we are doing together with the customer. The customer draws this himself. It's not something that we come, you have to do them that way. They find out together with us as a guidance and advisor in how to do this in part. Thank you very much.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Ole, for these very valuable insights into the real world, and then 2 examples from biotech and from pharmaceutical company. So the last pillar, and one of the maybe most important pillars, is really customer and partner collaboration. I already shared some examples how we collaborate and how we really listen to the feedback and how we include that in our development planning. And so I would like to share with you that we already have great partners, for example, in our SAP store, who extend SAP Cloud ALM and who are dedicated in the sub-store available to extend SAP Cloud ALM. We have P36, DHC, Tricentis Vera, Nagarro with their life science package, and Key User Pro, who integrates Cloud ALM with ServiceNow. And if you are interested and if you want to learn more about these products, the partners and contact people are available here outside after this session as well. And so to use the words of my partner in crime for the ESAG working group, Sebastian Rode, please do not wait to take a look at Cloud ALM. And get active, get involved in the customer communities. We have an international speaking community. We have the DSAG working group for the German-speaking market, which is led by Sebastian Rode, Peter Lindner, and myself. And Sebastian really used some nice words of saying, like, SAP can only solve problems they are aware of. So get engaged, tell us what your requirements and your demand is, and we can listen and try to find a solution. And you don't need to remember all of that or take pictures. There is a support portal page where I summarized all the relevant information. You will find links to an adoption use case, to the white paper, to the partners in the substore, or the DSAG working group. So that is the one-stop shop. There is just one link you need to remember, and then you have all information at hand. With that, we are just in time, so thanks a lot for listening. And if you like to discuss this topic further, we can meet outside and have a little chat. Thank you for listening. Thank you for coming.